Hey, and welcome back to the streaming series about building a Instagram clone with Ruby on Rails and StimulusReflex. And this is day 6, where we're trying to figure out how to make the likes work on the post. Namely, we want to have a user be able to like a post, and so the relationship between a post and a user needs to be modeled in the join table. And so we don't have that yet. Previously, you could like a post even if you're not logged in. And now what we want to do is count the number of likes for a post and make sure that all the posts are liked by someone. So we probably wouldn't be able to like a post if you're not logged in. Okay, so that's the goal here. We have a test from yesterday. Let me switch to my editor. Actually, not yesterday. It was on Friday, so a few days ago. And so this is nice about having tests because you can find out very easily where you've left off, and you can continue from there without actually looking at the implementation code or your Git logs. Maybe you haven't committed to Git, and so writing tests and having them tell you what the next step is helps a lot. Okay, so now if we look at this test here, last time I added this test because I wanted it to remind me today about what I need to do. So what this says is that I should be able to see likes, both my likes and likes from other people. So to test that, I need to create, or actually I need to like the same post by different users. So the way we do that is have a separate user login, and then in a separate browser like the post, and then we should probably assert that we can see all the likes. So let's read this test again. Given someone else has liked a post, so for this step, I'm probably going to open a separate browser, log the user in after I create a post, and then have that user like the post. Then I will like the post in my own browser, and then I should see the number of likes increase. Okay. So what we could do here, because this is about StimulusReflex, we could do that with stimulus. So for this expectation, instead of saying I should see the number of likes increase, I'm thinking maybe something more like I should see the number of likes increase without refreshing the page. And that way so what I want to have is I want to create a post, like the post, and then wait. And when someone else in a separate browser likes the post, I should be able to see that without reloading the page. So let me see if we need to reword this a bit. Maybe given I've liked my post, when someone else likes my post, then I should see the number of likes increase without reloading the page. Okay, I like that. Liking posts. Then the number of likes. No. Yeah, that's good. Even though it's a bit long, I'm not sure if I can make that any shorter. Okay, so these are the steps that I don't have. And I'm gonna switch to my step definitions. Generic, no. I like my post. I pasted these steps last time, right? No. No, I didn't. Okay. So how do I like my post? So to like my post, I need to first sign up, create a post, and then like it. So that, or I could create a like post method, and that's what I'm gonna do. Support post helpers, yeah. Okay, so like post. Okay, and I'm gonna copy that here. Okay, so now I have a helper for liking a post, and then the second step, this one, someone else likes my post. So for this step, I'm gonna use the same using session helper. So line 24 to line 26, I'm gonna copy here. Okay, so this user needs to sign up and then like the post, because this like post will work the same for everybody, because it just goes ahead and finds the first one. Okay, so this user likes the post, and then here I should see 2 likes. Okay, so the first like is from me, and then the second like is from the other user. Oops, let me let this do its thing so I can go to definition in my editor. And then I'm gonna rerun Cucumber. Okay. Undefined method ID for nil class. Yeah. So that is model post liked. Yeah, it's looking for a user ID here and cannot find a user. So given I've liked my post, when someone else likes the post, sign up. Let me see where that breaks. Create post. Okay, so this is the second step. It's this one, and then so this happens for the right. Okay, so what happens is the second user opens the browser, and it should be able to see that first post, even if it's not logged in, right? But by seeing that post, the view requires a user to be signed in. So here, the partial, this needs current user, right? So what we need to do what should we do? Let's not show the posts if you're not signed in. So this section, user signed in, so that section with the list of posts should only show up if you're signed in. Okay. So now we've got a different error. And this one is about liking the post. So let's go back. Create post line. Okay, this line here. So it doesn't find the post like class. That means that it probably cannot see the post. And I wonder why that is, because the user is signed in at this point. I want to see if the user can get here. The second user, I mean. Yeah, I don't know which user that is. Let's try that again. One, two. So I only have one user here. Okay, and it doesn't go past this. Create post lines 55 here. Let me see what the sign up does. Oh, might have a problem with the sign up, because it's going to create it's going to try to create the same user twice. We have the same email address. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up an argument for the email address. And maybe I need a username as well, because we cannot have the same username, can we? Let me see. Well, actually we can. Okay, so let's just use that email address. That is weird to have the same username. I should probably add a validation about that for restricting that. But let's leave it at that for now and see if that passes. Three user.all. I have one user and it still fails there. Okay, let me go back to my N file and enable the non-headless browser because I want to see what's going on. Oops. Where's my feature file? Here. That's not the one. That's line 10 now, because I've added the JavaScript tag. Okay, that's the first browser. That's the second one. Email already taken. Right, because I need to add the email here because I've used the default one. So John Doe 2 and example.com. Okay. First one, second one. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna disable that browser because I don't like seeing it. So what it did now is it clicked the like button, and instead of seeing 2 likes, it saw 1 like. And I'm expecting that because I haven't added the implementation code to solve that problem. Okay, so now let's go to the likes controller and see what's going on here. So, okay, the like method takes the current user, which is good, and finds the post for the current user and updates the liked flag. Right, but there's a problem here because this second user doesn't own the post, right? So it won't find anything. So what we need to do is actually find a post but how can we like the post without a user ID? So there's a modeling problem here. What we have now is a relationship between a post and a user. So the user that created the post has a relationship with that post, and on that relationship is the liked flag. But the problem with that is that other users won't be able to like it because the liked flag is on the relation. So that's not good. What we would like to have is probably have either a post likes counter that increases when the user likes it, but that doing that means that you cannot control how many times one user can like a post. So if you click the post multiple times, you could, in theory, like the same post multiple times. You might restrict that by disabling the UI. So if actually you couldn't do that because you wouldn't know if the current user liked the post or not. So what we need here is a way to model the post likes, and I think what we need is a different join table between a user and a like, but that wouldn't make sense because like is just a flag. So instead of a join table, what we need is just a separate table that stores the post ID, user ID, and that's it. So if we have a So if you have a separate table, right, it would be so much easier if I could draw this. Give me a second, try something. I'm hoping this will work, but I don't know. One second. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. So we have a user here, and we also have a post. So now in between these there's a join table. So this is the post ID, and this is the user ID, and this table has a separate flag of liked or unliked or not. Okay, so this is called user posts, and this is fine for the relationship between a user and a post, because we keep the posts in a separate table and then we just create this link. I wouldn't need this if I didn't need this liked flag. So what I could do is on the post I could have a user ID column, and that way I would be able to know which user created the post. And then for liking posts, so let's say we have a likes table, and then in here I would also need a user ID, because I want to know who liked the post. And then I would also need to know which post, right? So I would need a post ID. That looks a lot like this one, right? It's just different names. So this and this. Those are the only things that differ. So if I have this table, then a like means an existing row inside the table, and if it's not like, then the row wouldn't exist. And that's all. So what I could do to get there, okay, so I would need to remove that column from the user posts table, that liked column, and then on the post table I would need a user ID column, and then I would also need to rename this to something else, like maybe likes. So this could be a liked posts relationship. Yeah. So that's where I would like to get, but I'm wondering if I could do without that join table. Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to go for. Okay, so let's switch back to post spec. Okay, now I want to see what this test looks like. Right. So this is what I meant when I said I don't really like this test, because it uses an implementation detail. Ideally, I would have been able to change this behavior without changing the test. So it's a bit too close to the implementation. It knows too much about the implementation, and that's not ideal. So let me just copy that and rewrite this test the way it should work now. So I would have a user and a post with a user ID of user.id. And when I like that post, then the post likes should change. So that's correct. You could also say that the like action could be on the user. And I don't know if that's better or not at this point. So let's leave it where it is and fix this test. This is the model post spec number 8. Right. There's no user ID on the post. Add user ID to posts. Posts user ID integer not false. Oops. Right. I need to migrate the database. Right, not null constraint failed because I have a bunch of posts already. It's fine to drop the database for now because we don't have anything in production. Obviously, if you do, this is not the ideal way of changing it. Okay. Let me run this test again. That dev cache still showing up. Why is it showing up all the time? Okay, so expected the likes to change, but it didn't. Okay, so now likes, number of likes. Okay, so the number of likes. Now the number of likes needs to be a separate table. So let me close this for a second. Now look at the likes method. Copy this. Because again, this is using an implementation detail, which is not ideal. So what we want here is to have two likes so I have a liked post, an unliked post, and this relationship, it's gonna be called like. And it won't have a boolean flag. It will have just a user ID and a post ID, and I don't need that. Okay, so that's the test, and now this will fail, obviously. 43. Oops. Non-null constraint failed. Okay. Yes, user ID, user.id. Same here. Uninitialized constant like. Okay. So now I need to add another migration. Rename. What's it called? User posts. User posts to likes. Rename table? I don't think so. Let me just look up the syntax for that. Rails migration name table. Rename table. Okay. Rename table. User posts to likes. Let's see if that works. Yeah, and it does. So now I want to also remove that unnecessary column. Remove liked column from likes. So I don't want that. And it looks like I also have an index there on the likes. But that's good. Yeah, it's not that column. Okay, remove column. Likes. Liked. Okay. Perfect. So now we have that likes column. We can rename that model user post. Rename user post to likes to like. Okay. And on the specs, user posts, rename this to like spec RB. Okay, so that works. Now let's go back to the post spec, line 43 here. User post, we still have a user post somewhere. Yeah, I think we have it in the relationships. So here we have many likes. Right, we have many likes, and so we don't need the custom method anymore. Yeah. Okay, but this then becomes likes.count. So this is likes, and liked posts, true likes, liked posts, true likes. That works. Now let's run all the specs in this file. Line 5. So that doesn't work yet because we need to fix this. Liked posts, posts, true likes. Liked posts, true likes. So, expected post to have a has many association called liked posts, true likes. Couldn't find the source. Liked post. Yeah, I'm not sure though if I need that now. Might not, because yeah, instead of fixing that, I'm gonna remove it because I don't use it yet. Okay, user posts. So liking a post should create a new like with the user ID, user.id, and post ID. Actually, instead of that, we can do user. Would that work? Probably not. Like, create user. I think that should work. Let's see. So this is line 7 here. And I wonder what happens when you like a post, because I'm expecting it to create another record. So like all, okay, post of likes. Okay, so I think what happens is that this needs to be count. Yeah. Okay, so that works. Now let's run the post specs again. And we have a problem at line 8 because we haven't yet fixed this liked method. And so what the like method needs to do is go through the likes and see if there's a user with that post ID and user ID. So this needs to be likes, where user ID and I think what we could do is do any no any question mark, yeah, any records, so like that. Hopefully this works, because I'm not sure if it returns or if it can get a scope. Or maybe that is just this. Okay. So again, we have a user and a post. And don't need that, but liking it should be true. Okay, so this wouldn't work because the post, well, it would work if we have two user. So we have user 2, and then this is user 2, and then if you do post liked by user 1, then it should be false. Oops, that's not 18, that's 25. Right, so this post has user ID 2. Okay, that works. And when there are no records, that's not gonna work because post requires a user. Well, wait, it's not right. So here there's a user in the post for that same user, and then a second user likes the post. Oops. So that's what I wanted here. And then if we ask the first, if it's liked by the first user, then the result is false. But if no one likes the post, user.id. So if no one likes the post, and if we ask yeah, that's confusing. When the user didn't like the post. Even though this one is the same as this one, I'm not sure if there's any value in it. Yeah, probably not. So now we should have all the tests working, and we do. Now liking works, so we can switch back to the cucumber tests. User post. So now we have current user posts, which if you look at the user specs, this is still using the user posts instead of likes. So this should be likes, and we don't need that. And then here, okay. Undefined posts for user. Where do we have that? Here. Well, we do have both posts and likes. Because if you remember, in our design here, beautifully designed schema, we had user posts. So we had this relationship, which is user posts, and this relationship, which is user likes. So let's go back. Let me run that test. Oops, pack models, user spec. Okay, those are passing. Okay, cool. So now this controller works. What doesn't work yet is incrementing the likes. So let's see what's going on there. We do have a likes controller, and this likes the post by current user, and then the number of likes. Okay, so this doesn't work because it's displaying gibberish. Likes here, where is it, the likes count? So what we could do later on here is refactor this, pull it into a helper or maybe a view component. Okay, so it expected to find 2 likes and got 1 like. That's interesting. I wonder why that is. I'm gonna put a pry in here. I'm guessing that maybe the post doesn't refresh its number of likes. That's just a hunch. Maybe it's not that. Post likes. Oh, interesting. Okay. Post reload likes. So now there are two. So there are 2 likes there. But the count says 1. What am I missing here? Post likes count 2. Okay, I think I know what the problem is. So let me switch back to the feature. And like steps. And what did I call this? Post steps. Okay. So what happens here is the second user goes in and goes in and likes the post, but our last step here checks the number of likes in the first browser. So in my first user's browser, not the second one. So just to make sure that this works, I'm gonna assert that in the second browser. So this should work now. But the first browser hasn't reloaded his page, and so he cannot see the second like. Right. So this is 2 like because we're not using the pluralized version. Pluralize like. Okay. Right, so this one's passing because in the second browser the number of likes is correct, but in the first browser without reloading the page it is not. So I'm gonna revert back where this test fails, because what we want to do is have the page reload by using the stimulus stuff or cable ready stuff, and so yeah, so we want to broadcast that like to the first browser, and so I want this test to fail. And the reason I want it to fail and leave it like that is because I want it to tell me next time what I need to do. So I'm wondering if there's anything I should commit here. So yeah, maybe this. Liking posts. So changed from user posts to likes. Okay, and I also want to commit this feature. Oops. Added multiple likes feature tests. I want to commit that as is so you can look at the code if you want, but we still have a failing test. Ideally you would commit when all the tests are passing, but for this exercise I think it's valuable to have that if you want to look at it. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to fix this test and broadcast that update and see maybe where StimulusReflex comes in and how it can help make the UI better. Okay, so see you tomorrow. And if you have any comments, feel free to add them in the comment section. So yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.